Hey everyone. So this is going to be the other side of the Oppl app tutorial. Um, I thought about this for a while on how to do this tutorial because it's not something I can just sort of show you an app and how to manage it. What I will say is definitely watch the user tutorial first because understanding how the app works and where they go to submit is going to really help connect what this side of things looks like and how it all works. And so I'll cut to that point, I guess, for now. Um, the last thing the user does at the end of the night is submit the scorecards. So they agree on the score, they hit submit, and they send that off by email. And what that does is it emails that PDF scorecard to OPPL scorecards at gmail.com. And what I did, and I can show this at the end of the tutorial, but you don't even need access to that email um, because I have a script running that every 15 minutes it's going to sift through the inbox, extract the scorecards, put them in the halls folder on the Google Drive, and date them in nice little folders. And so what you as reps are going to have is access to the hall folder. And so I'm going to show Celebrity Billiards folder right now. Um, and so I'm doing this on a computer, and this is another reason it's hard to make a tutorial because you can do this kind of however you want. If you're familiar with Google Drive on your phone, you can do it there. If you're on desktop, which was the easiest way for me to make this tutorial, um, it's as simple as opening uh, the web browser and going to the link. And all Bev or whoever myself is going to do is just share the URL for the hall for the rep. So Celebrity Billiards rep would get the URL for the Celebrity Billiards folder. Um, on the Snap Tuesday would get the URL for that one, so on and so forth. And each week after league night, uh, the app after they get submitted, the script is going to go through and nicely organize the score sheets into a dated folder. And so if we can pretend that August 28th was a league night, I did just use the app last Friday or whatever the 28th was as an example, just to get a scorecard in there. Um, at the end of the night, you would see a folder labeled August 28th, 2025. And if we go inside of that folder, you can see that there's one scorecard in here, and the naming convention is the hall, the date, and then the team versus the team. So who cares versus excuse us. And then I also appended who sent it. And this is kind of like my burner email. So, but anyway, that just is a useful piece of information about whose email it came from. And so if we open this up and look at the scorecard, you can see it's nicely formatted. The first sheet is going to be a summary, so you don't even see the full score sheet. So uh, you're going to see August 28th, 2025, Celebrity Billiards. Both teams have confirmed the scorecard. Home team summary. So again, it's just kind of calculating the score based on the score sheet and doing a nice little summary for you so that it's easy to input all the data into. I know Bev has a master spreadsheet going for all of this. If we scroll down to the second page, it's going to be your traditional actual scorecards. So you can see what happened, individual games and who got what, and you can see any break and runs are going to be bracketed with a BR. And yeah, that's what a scorecard's going to look like submitted from any player. So, you know, there's only one in here, but if it was an actual league night and 10 teams made submissions, you would have 10 PDFs in here. And so we can talk about with Bev and in our meeting how we want this to work, whether only the home team submits or whether both submit. It's going to collect anyone who submitted a score sheet on that date. So uh, yeah, that's it for that part. The second part of this is going to be roster management. And so again, uh, I do have to explained that the application I made as smart as humanly possible without like true integration to a database on the background. And so, to summarize what that means for people who aren't tech savvy, there is no server or anything because that highly complicates things and drives the price way up for development and ongoing fees and everything. So what I did as a compromise to at least have it so that we have some control over the rosters without people having to enter in their handicaps and all of that is I've created a master Google Sheet that I can give access to whoever. I'm the only one with access right now, and I believe I showed Kat at one point. Uh, and I will bring that over now just to look at it. So if we go here. Okay, so this is the master roster sheet I have going right now. And so the first tab down here is just a save rosters button. And the only reason that's there is because you got to click it in order to actually save this information and have the script go and create the backend file that it needs to. And so if we go to Celebrity Billiards, it's a very simple table. It's and very easy to manipulate, but the most important thing is it has to follow this format because the application is looking for a JSON file that's going to be formatted with this data. And so let's say, I'll use my team because I can change this afterwards. Let's say we add somebody. So there's a couple ways. You can just right click and insert one table row above. And all you gotta do is make sure that the team is the team you want them to go on. The team number is the team number you want them to go on. First name, we'll just use the typical John Smith. And we'll give John Smith a handicap of 9. Okay, so that's pretty much it, except for we have to come back to this tab and hit Save Rosters. And you can see it's running the script, and it will say Finish Script. And so as long as you see that notification that says Finish Script, that's it. The next time anyone comes to the pool hall and opens up the app and starts a match and picks the pool hall and selects Excuse Us Now, John Smith will be on that roster and he will have a handicap of 9 and everything's ready to go. Most important thing out of this sheet, whoever is going to be using it and managing it, is to follow the format. So don't, type in another player in this cell. Don't change make and bank without the apostrophe because it'll be a brand new team. Everything has to match and the app will do its thing. So yeah, we can talk about this too, but it was the best possible compromise that I could come up with without a proper back end in order for the app to kind of intelligently bring down a roster without players having to do any work at all whatsoever with any handicap adjustments or anything like that. The caveat here is this has to be done before the night starts. So in the middle of the night, if somebody says, oh, Richie's or Nancy's handicap is not 7, this is the only issue I could possibly think of. We could come in here and update 7 to an 8 if she's actually an 8, but whoever was keeping score for that game, is going to, it will work, but they have to basically delete the match they started, start a new match, and it will fetch the roster again because it fetches these rosters when you hit start a match. And so if the handicap is not adjusted before the night starts, when they go to start a match, it's going to grab whatever's in this sheet at that time. And so I don't think that's a problem. I don't know how often we adjust handicaps in the middle of a night. I don't think ever. But just to be aware that this sheet has to stay updated and stay updated ahead of time. What else can I show you? So I've put in pretty much all the players and teams that were around last year. This one called Pool Hall I was doing just to mess around with. So let's say because this is a good example, and I don't know how in depth we want to go in this tutorial, but let's say a new pool hall is joining the league. We have to have it formatted the same way for every hall. And so the easiest way to do that is going to be to duplicate a hall that already exists. So Pool City, we'll be needing a copy of Pool City. We'll rename that to New Pool Hall. Up here, this doesn't really actually matter, but let's just call it New Pool Hall for fun. And that's it. So right now, if you opened the app, there would be another pool hall that shows up as a selection. It would be called New Pool Hall, and these would be the teams. Obviously, we copy it from another one, so we would have to go and edit these to team name, whatever, and all the players and everything. But yeah, and sorry, very most importantly here, when you're done making your changes, come back to the Save Rosters tab and hit Save Rosters. And yeah, that is it for now. We will go over all of this in our meeting tomorrow, but this was sort of a go-to video for the basics of how it all works.